Liberal Viewer presents.
So I want to start off making it clear that there are many people who are registered Republicans who are sincere and caring, and there are lots of registered Democrats who are also selfish jerks, but I am still very interested by an issue Bill Maher raised in his interview with former President Jimmy Carter on Friday, comparing the good works of Carter and the other former Democratic President Bill Clinton after they left office with their Republican counterparts, to make this point.
You and President Clinton both have been extraordinary ex-presidents. I mean, the Carter Center, Habitat for Humanity, the Clinton Initiative, such good work all around the world, really using the power of the ex-presidency. Do you think there's something in the fact that the Democratic ex-presidents have been so effective, the Republican ones, I don't know what they do, they play golf, they lie around the couch, they don't seem to do anything. Is there something in being a Democrat versus being a Republican you think that causes that?
Now, as interesting as that insight was from Bill Maher, it was actually the more expansive answer from the 86-year-old former president that really explained the basic difference between the two major American political parties during my lifetime you can see here.
Well, I think there's an inherent difference between a natural-born Democrat and a natural-born Republican. You know, the Democrats are naturally for helping other people more and boosting up the poorer people to have a better life, not putting all the benefits among the richest people on earth, thinking that some of it will spill down to the poor folks and ignorant folks below them. So that's a basic principle that divides the two of us.
And I think that's right, at least for the last several decades, when it comes to helping workers get at least a minimum hourly wage and decent working conditions, or helping women and minorities get equal rights, or helping seniors get Social Security and Medicare. It's been the Democrats trying to help people and the Republicans in opposition. And in fact, you can hear Republican icon Ronald Reagan in a 1961 recording immortalized in several YouTube videos telling Americans they must fight the proposed Medicare law because,
"If you don't, this program, I promise you, will pass just as surely as the sun will come up tomorrow. And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country. Until, one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free."
That alarmism sounds kind of familiar, but it isn't just on health care that Republican policy has been little more than selfishness rationalized. It's also on energy policy, as epitomized again by Republican icon Ronald Reagan, who not only brought in anti-environmental Interior Secretary James Watt, but as Bill Maher and Jimmy Carter remembered,
You put solar panels in the White House.
Absolutely.
And Reagan got into office and he took them down.
Absolutely. He said we didn't have to save energy. We didn't have to turn to solar power. We were a nation on a hill, and we didn't have to sacrifice or make any sort of...
How did selfishness get to be patriotic? That's what I want to know.
Well, I didn't use the word selfishness.
No, but that is the idea that I hear from the right wing in the last few decades, is that any sort of sacrifice is an affront to my liberty as an American to be a pig the way I want to.
And I think that's essentially correct, because even though, again, there are many perfectly nice, caring people who are Republicans, a lot of Republican policies are just ways the rich and the privileged can rationalize their own selfishness, even trying to turn selfishness into some kind of virtue, which accounts for the popularity with the Republican right of Ayn Rand's philosophy promoting the virtue of selfishness that I discussed in my video last year titled Stephen Colbert versus Ayn Rand, and it's that same Republican selfishness that accounts for the Republican legislative strategy during the Obama administration to obstruct everything, despite the economic crisis, and even though some of those policies were Republican policies just a couple years ago, as President Carter pointed out to Bill Maher in this clip.
He has been faced with a phalanx of Republicans who are completely irresponsible to have decided among themselves, we will not give Obama support under any circumstances, even though he proposes the same principles that we espoused ourselves a year or so ago. So they've done that, and when he's put forward his major proposals, which I think were well advised, he's been lucky to get 2 or 3 Republican votes.
And that's true, and this month Republicans will probably get some short-term gain out of that strategy, milking frustration with the bad economy for votes instead of working in a bipartisan way to try to fix it. But ultimately, I think those short-term gains will come at the expense of adding to that long-term reputation of the Republican Party as uncaring and selfish that it's earned on issues like the minimum wage, workplace safety, Social Security, and Medicare, among others. But I want to know what you think. Looking at the policies of the two major parties over the last several decades, have Democrats proven their party to be more caring and compassionate than the Republican Party? And Regarding the current Republican strategy, will short-term gains Republicans make by milking frustration with the bad economy for votes instead of working in a bipartisan way to try to fix it end up being outweighed by the long-term loss to the reputation of Republicans, as happened with issues like the minimum wage, workplace safety, Social Security, and Medicare, among others?
I YouTube, you decide.